Hi, parents and students. I wanted to just provide a little bit of help navigating some of the tools we use here at Brighton Instrumental Music to communicate and give you parents and students as much information as possible. I am on my computer, and this is what my screen is looking at, and hopefully it'll help you navigate, again, the things that you and your student are expected to be able to navigate as a student in the instrumental program. So first, this is the Brighton Instrumental Music homepage. I guess I should actually go to the homepage. This is the website that I have made on behalf of our students in our program. It allows for us to, again, kind of have a concise area where a lot of our information is placed. Again, a couple of things to consider with this is, one, you can find all the info you need to about charms, which is primarily what we're going to be talking about today, but you can also find forms, information about leadership and auditions, parents, anything about boosters, the ensembles. The most important tool, and that's why I'm going to take some time to talk about it, is the calendar. And I really do ask that students and parents, if you, at the very least, download and print this calendar, but you can also download it to your personal Google Calendar and add it to your devices as well. It takes just a few minutes to figure out, but it really will save you a lot of headaches. Anytime there's conflicts with different events, or if you're going out of town, it really helps you to be more informed on that. But you can always come to the website and see it here. Not everything that you see here will be on the school's calendar, which is why it's so important that you know this calendar. You can access the same calendar on Charms, again, what we're about to talk about as well. You can access our social media pages here as well. But again, the big thing I'm here to talk about today is Charms. As we're gearing up for tour, a lot of parents have questions about, how do I log in? My student lost their password, things like that. I'm again just here to help make sure everybody's on the same page. So this is our Charms explanatory page here on the website. It gives you step-by-step instructions about how to log in for the first time. Hopefully it's not your first time, but again, there's a sheet here that shows you how to do that. Let's see. That sheet looks like this right here. So again, you just go to charmsoffice.com. You need to go to the parent and student members login, and this is your school code. Again, you can see that all on our web page, but if you want to copy and paste it, you can download this document. When you get into Charms for the first time, we'll kind of walk through this. It is so important that you update your information. Okay, and again, we'll talk about what that looks like. Reviewing your financial obligations. So if you're planning on going on tour, or if you, everybody is charged a participation fee to be a part of band, orchestra, and choir, and most activities here at Brighton. And that's all managed by us individual teachers, unfortunately. I wish it was different. It isn't. Again, the calendar's up there. We can communicate via email with you, and we will. This is pretty much the only way we communicate with parents, is through this server. So whatever email you put into this server as a parent is what we will use. So please make sure that you're up to date. And again, we're going to go over that. So again, if you're a first timer, definitely check out that. But I'm going to take us over here to the Charms link. But before we do that, I do want to take a minute and just talk about what Charms is and why it's so helpful to me. So I know sometimes it can be a little frustrating because it looks old and clunky. It's something that server is working on. We're actually going to move to a new updated system next year that'll be a little bit more 2019. But it really allows for me to transparently manage things like finances. I can log fundraisers onto this webpage, and it will automatically credit your student's account for what they earned profit-wise. I can calculate all of that here and apply it to their tour fees or any other finances that they might have. It allows you parents 24-hour access to find your finances. Then you don't have to email me and wait for a response to know how much you owe for tour. And to be honest with you, 150 students or parents emailing me or coming to ask me what they owe takes a lot of my time I could be using to get better as a teacher. So anything I can do to be more efficient, I highly value. It allows me to manage my equipment that I check out to students. I track repairs. I can turn in a sheet to the district showing how many times I've repaired an instrument, and it allows for me to, show them that we might need to get new equipment and things like that. It allows for me to keep track of what students are renting things. Again, could I do that on a spreadsheet? Yes, but it's all in one place, and it's already built in a way that is helps with instruments, specific things. Again, your Excel spreadsheet doesn't necessarily come that way. It helps me manage my music library and what parts I give to students and what part they're playing. They might play trumpet 1, 2, or 3. It helps me keep track of those things. It helps keep track of attendance for after-school events, and you as parents can see if your students are attending. I can also log what reasons why students missed. Let's say there was a wrestling meet, and I have a couple students who are in wrestling. They can go ahead and put that information into the system, and it allows for me as a teacher to review why, when I'm adding grades, did we allow that student to miss that particular event. It helps me manage my alumni, so students who are going to be returning, this allows me to keep in communication with them for our different alumni events. I can email specific groups, sections, instruments. I can email the freshman cellos if I need to. It allows me to really have great communication with parents. I can't do that on Skyward. It also helps me manage forms. For example, your medical forms. I can send out automated emails that help you as parents remember to fill those things out if I don't have it. So again, it just helps me get lists of students who I'm missing and creates those for me. And it also allows for our booster association to really get access to the information they need to create a great booster association. They can email and contact parents who are also in the organization. They can set up volunteer requests and things like that. So it's really quite useful. And especially as we start to expand our program, potentially with this marching band thing, you'll find that it's really very useful. And it really, again, is just a huge help to me because it keeps everything that I do in one place and allows for you parents to access it without waiting for me to get back to you. It helps our district keep track of our equipment and all of that. So some caveats, some things that aren't maybe great about it is it's old and clunky. I totally understand that. It's not always the most user-friendly, but once you learn how it works, it's actually really useful. And like I said, I'm looking at a little bit more updated system for next year that should, again, be a little more 2019. I love using Skyward email. The only issue I have with it is if I need to email all of the students who have been in my program at one point or another throughout the year, I have to email all 3 trimesters, which some parents will get 3, sometimes even 6 if they're in jazz band emails, and some will get 1. There's no way to simply make it so I can email the students who need the information at all times. With this system, I can do that because everybody's in it. So, and again, like I said, I could also email specific groups that are more specific to music. I just said specific like 3 or 4 times. Sorry about that. And then sometimes when you forget your password, Charms is kind of a pain to get you to log back in. But luckily for you, I can help. And again, that's kind of what I'm here to show today. If you are having trouble logging into Charms, first, let's try a couple of things. Make sure you watch this video, which hopefully you are, and it explains how to log in. So again, use the information on this video to log in if you are still unfamiliar with the process. Double check that your school code is correct. Again, you can find that back on our website page if you need to, or the First Time Charms user page. And then the last one, when students first log in, and we did this at our camps before school even started, is they get a chance to reset their password, which was their student ID initially, but now they log in and it is not their student ID. They reset it. I don't know what students pick. I have no access to that information. The only thing I can redo is reset it to their student ID. So if you find yourself in a place where you and your student forget what passwords you might have set up, you can ask me to reset it, and I can do that very easily. Again, write it down like you would with any other password. Communicate parents and students with each other so that way you both can access it, okay? One other thing to be aware of is sometimes the students put down their CSD Docs email as their email, and if you're trying to reset your password and it's saying it's sending an email, the reason your student isn't getting it is because CSD Docs doesn't allow any other servers to email them. So I can't even do it from my school Outlook email. It's kind of ridiculous, but again, it's just something we have to work with. So hopefully that gives you some help. Again, I'm just going to kind of walk you through what that looks like. So if I go to the, again, Brighton Instrumental Music's webpage, brightonbengalmusic.com, and I go to Charms, I can click here to go to the Charms link. There is an app you can get that is really, really useful. So maybe consider getting that as well. I am a teacher, so this is what my login looks like, but you are parents and students, so you're going to click on this area. I'm going to type in my school code, which is Brighton HS Music, and I'm going to enter the parent area. Actually, hold up. It keeps trying to log me in automatically. Okay. So now this is what it'll look like after you enter your school code. Again, the first time you enter it, it will be your student's ID, but after that, it is dependent on what you guys set as your password. So this is the fake student that I made up to help show you what this looks like. So I'm entering their password now, and it brings me to this portal. Okay, there are so many things you can do here. You can access the calendar, and again, it shows you what events and, more importantly, what ensembles are required. If your student is in band, it will only show band events. If your student is in orchestra, it will only show orchestra events. In the future, I'm thinking about printing these all for your students. Let me know if that is something that would be useful to you as parents. Again, calendars are sometimes subjected to change, but I usually, they almost never do, and I really try and be very good about that. Finances, you can see exactly what your student has paid or has not paid, what they've fundraised, what their profit was. Again, if they're going on a trip, it shows their trip detail, their participation fees, or any other fees they might accrue. Like, for example, a t-shirt replacement fee is something that has I've had to do in the past. Forms collected, so some of the forms that I ask for as a parent or student they're right there. Inventory, if there's any inventory checked out to your student. So, for example, my fake student here has a baritone that is checked out under their name, and I check those back in, and I check for the quality of their return, and again, I can manage it all here. But most importantly, when you log in, you really want to make sure that your information is updated. Now, again, this is my test student, so their name is Test. I highly recommend you put in an email that is either, if you trust your student to, have the emails, you can put theirs. Again, not CSD Docs, but something else. Or more importantly, particularly for parents, I highly recommend you come over here, and again, all I did was go to the parent, and you can add as many adults as you want to. If you want grandma to be on the account, that's great. Add her information. But whatever was the primary parent on Skyward is how I put in this information initially. You need to go in and update your email so that way we are able to communicate with you. This is how we send out emails for everything we do. I only send out Skyward emails usually to remind parents of, hey, you need to be on Charms. And there are some who are definitely in the loop and others I worry about, and I just don't want anybody to miss any information. So again, this is what your student portal should look like. I hope you find it as useful as I do. Again, I know there's issues with it. I know that sometimes it is not the most user-friendly system, but it really is an amazing tool for me as a director. If you want more information about that or have any opinions, feel free to email or contact me. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but it is something I feel is very valuable to our students and program as we grow and continue to get better. So thank you again for your time, and hopefully this gives you some help that you need.